Welcome, Speedrun fans. This is Global Speedrun Association Twitch channel, and I thank you so much for joining us for this epic battle today. The stage for our battle, Super Metroid. The goal of our battle, defeat Mother Brain after defeating the 4 major bosses in whatever fashion you like, as long as that fashion is not Major Glitches, my friends. The warriors that will be fighting it out for death and glory, ARealCutie on your left, and LynxXUnlimited on your right. The men that will be talking you through every missile, ledge grab, and mock ball. Myself. My name is ALT Insider. My main man on the color is Kip. Kip, are you back yet? How are you doing, Kip?
I am, ALT.
Yes.
How are you, man?
I'm doing good. This is my maiden voyage in the world of commentated Super Metroid, so I ask that you be gentle with me, please, today.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad to be here to see you through it, man. But yeah, everybody, we've got an excellent matchup. Let me just explain really quick what you're going to see, because if you don't know both of these runners, then these are names that you need to be familiar with. Starting with ARealCutie on the left. ARealCutie recently has run only the third. He's the third person in the history of Super Metroid to run a 43 old route. So right now he's basically, one of the best or one of the best players in the world at old route, and he'll be running that tonight. He has extreme consistency. And then LynxXUnlimited is another incredibly consistent player at new route. Very good player. He's got like a mid 43, and his current PB actually did not get the baby skip, which is like a 20 to 25 second trick. So he's a great runner as well. Both of these guys, excellent, both seasoned in terms of tournament matches. So this should be a lot of fun, ALT.
Yeah, awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Now, yeah, so we have both are doing different routes today. So why don't you explain a little bit about that? One of us is doing the new route, one is doing the old routes. What exactly does that mean?
Yeah, so for those unfamiliar, ARealCutie is going to be doing old route, and what that basically means, just to make it simple, is that's sort of the intended boss order of the game. You kill Kraid, then you collect some items in Norfair, you go up, you kill Phantoon, then you get the gravity suit, you head to Meridia with the water, kill Dragon, and then you go down to Ridley. What Lynx will be doing, however, is something that we call new route, because it's a route that was created much later than the old route. And it technically has a bigger potential to save time because of routing. It starts with Phantoon first, then goes to Ridley, then Kraid, then Dragon. And the whole purpose of doing a new route is basically to cut off some of the door transitions and the routing. But what makes it very difficult is you end up fighting some of the most difficult bosses with significantly less gear than you would in old route. So Phantoon can be very dangerous. Ridley can be very dangerous. Lower Norfair in general. So should be fun to see how this pans out with both runners here.
Yeah, it looks like we are off, by the way, in the race to get hit by Ridley's tail 3 times before we can really get to the meat of this run for sure. Anything I want to know about, Phantoon for sure, that we're going to get to shortly, the first boss for the person doing the new route, is definitely the place where most people have, lost their runs in this tournament for sure, right?
Yeah, so far in this particular tournament, if somebody has died running new route, it's been primarily either Phantoon or the Spike Room, which is the bowling room, which is basically right before you get gravity suit. And that also rang true in our community any percent tournament this summer. But there have been a few people that have died in Lower Norfair and Ridley as well. So basically those two sections of the run are definitely the most dangerous in terms of new route. Now, I'm not saying you can't die in old route. It can definitely happen. But generally speaking, it's typically a little bit safer of a run. So I'd be more surprised to see Cutie die than Lynx.
Yeah, that's one thing for sure. And I've seen, we should say who you are too, Kip. You're still sitting in the winner's bracket waiting to face one of these guys that gets out of loser's bracket. So yeah, I'm happy to have you on the color and the knowledge there for sure.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, somehow I managed to get lucky and make it into the final match, mainly because Zos died to Ridley. But there's nothing I can really do about that. Clearly, he's a way superior runner than me. But sometimes you just never know with this game, man. Anything can happen.
Yeah, for sure. And we're just about to get to the planet here. We can get on our way to see the split. I mean, it's going to be a little bit interesting to see because it's tougher to feel who's in the lead, right, when they go through new route and old route, correct? But I'm guessing you have more experience with that for sure.
Yeah, basically what you're going to see here is both runners, the first maybe about 7 or 8 minutes or so will basically be identical. They're both going to go down here, pick up Morphing Ball, 1 pack of missiles, and they're going to climb back up, pick up the bombs and then make their way into green Brinstar to grab the super missiles, charge beam them, in another missile pack, etc. And then what's going to happen is they're going to deviate or they're going to diverge when they hit red tower. Cutie will go to the bottom. He'll go down to go fight Kraid, whereas Lynx will head up to immediately go to Fantoon. And from that point forward, we will not see them sync up again, like true sync, until actually after Mother Brain 2 has been defeated. That's the big difference. You would think that they would sync back up like in Torian or something like that, but the reason they don't is because Cutie's going to end up picking up the plasma beam when he gets done with Dragon and Meridia, and that's the most powerful beam in the game. Lynx will never path over to pick it up because by the time he could pick it up, it would be like not worth the time investment. Mm-hmm. So even when they're fighting Mother Brain 2, Cutie will only have to hit Mother Brain 2 20 times. Lynx will have to hit her 60. So we won't know for sure, like with 100% certainty, who's ahead until after that fight's over. And then at that point, there's only like 3 minutes left. So it should be interesting.
Awesome. Hopefully we can keep it going and keep it. Hopefully the race is tight until then. We get a hype to see where they exactly are in terms of the who's in the lead and who's not in the lead. And so both our runners picked up the missiles and the bombs, and they're ready to head back up. The trip up is a little bit more difficult because there's guys now, so you got to take care of them for sure. Seem to be pretty close right now, but we're still extremely early to be talking about who's in the lead and who's not in the lead. As I said though, you've run the game, so I'm betting you've played the game a few times yourself, Kip. So speaking of betting, could you tell us about Vi.GG?
Yeah, so really glad that we were able to have sponsors for this tournament. A lot of the people in the community are really excited about the fact that this is our first sort of sponsored paid tournament. So pretty awesome that Super Metroid is getting some attention that way. Our sponsors, Vi.GG. If you want to check out their website, you can type !bet into the chat. And I believe you can, make bets on these races and stuff like that. I'm not sure if it's open to those of us in the United States, but definitely I think the European crowd can check it out. So give it a look, and thank you once again to our sponsor.
There you go. Lynx having a little bit of trouble going up there on the parlor there, but he's pulled it around. I think you've seen in the races in this tournament so far, once you make a small mistake that kind of costs you a little time, it kind of can snowball quickly in this game. And it looks like Lynx turned around now. Hopefully he can get back on track. It's just a few seconds lost there. It's no big deal. As we hit to our first mini boss here, which is the what do I see? I forget my names. Chorizo, blah blah blah, something, right?
Yeah, you got it. That's Bomb Chorizo, since he drops the bombs for us. But yeah, Cutie had an excellent fight here. Lynx, unfortunately, gonna have to take a few extra seconds to collect a few more missiles. There is actually some RNG in that fight, depending on how many missiles he drops and then how cleanly you collect them, because you have to get more than 5 to actually finish the fight fast. But as you can already tell, the maximum missile count right now is 5. So if you accidentally collect every single drop that he drops, you're gonna go only to 5, still need a few more, and you'll have to wait for him to spit out those eggs again. So Cutie had basically a perfect fight, picking up the Terminator E-Tank here and getting ready to go down to Green Brinstar.
Yeah, interesting. This game is pretty nice with you about drops. Like, so you have something filled, they say, well, we don't give you that. It's kind of much nicer than the NES version for sure. But yeah, here we go. As you can see, the first deviation here in the route here, the space pirates here, ARealCuties went on through, took the damage through them, but Lynx is going to have to shoot him with a missile to not take as much damage as ARealCutie did there.
That's correct. And also watch Cutie real quick. Watch him run the strat to get into this door. He's going to completely bypass all those creatures and immediately go in the door because he has 5 regular missiles. Now, if you turn your attention to Lynx, you can see he only has 2 missiles because he's been using missiles to kill those pirates. He's going to have to farm both of these Zealers right here to get to 5. And he does. And then he heads into the room. So both of those rooms are a little bit slower for the new router, but you have to do that to maintain your health. You don't want to be taking 60 extra damage or whatever it is before you go to Fantoon.
Yeah, you can see our first case of using Mach Ball here, which wish my younger self knew how to do that, because I definitely spent many hours trying to get through those doors without speed burst. But there you go. Beautifully done by both players. I mean, they're going to get super bombs, which lets them start the sequence breaking, right?
Yeah, that's kind of the first, I guess, like really, really significant one. Technically, I think the first true sequence break that we do is that trick right after Bomb Chorizo called Alcatraz. It only saves a few seconds, but instead of dropping bombs to break blocks, you just like spin jump your way out of the thing. But this is the first like actual true sort of routing sequence break where you pick up super missiles earlier than the game sort of intends you to, and that allows you to skip Spore Spawn, the mini boss, which is, let me just tell you how grateful I am for that, man. It's the holiday season. We're supposed to be thankful for things. I'm thankful that they found an ability to skip Spore Spawn, because that
Yeah,
is a brutal fight.
too bad. He looks really cool though. You know, the big Little Shop of Horrors guy for sure. But yeah, he has not seen a speedrun in Super Metro for a long time.
Yeah.
At least at 90%. Yeah. So yeah, people. I love it. The drop. I forget the enemy name right there. The ones that always drop super bombs, except for like 0.4% of the time or something. That's
Yeah, those little green guys.
Yeah, it's a shiny in Pokemon basically. Your chances.
Yeah, so those little green guys are called Cack Attacks. They will drop super missiles 99 point, yeah, like 6% or something like that. And if you're full on supers, they'll drop large health, so they can kind of be manipulated. But anyway, you see here, Cutie has already gone down and he's heading to Crave. Lynx is getting ready to do Red Tower. This room can be quite tricky, especially when you don't have the high jump boots. You're trying to get by these rippers, but yeah, this is the main deviation, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it's so many wall jumps in a row. It's really just incredible to do. Yeah, if you don't have a high level of skill, you cannot be doing this walk up the Red Tower with these wall jumps for sure.
Yeah, Lynx had a little bit of trouble there, but that's not uncommon. It's a very tough room, but now he's up there. He's going to collect his power bomb pack. Cutie, on the other hand, in Mini Crade hallway, and he's going to be collecting all of those supers from Mini Crade there, and he'll get ready to do his attempt at the Crade quick kill.
Yeah, which seems hopefully be able to pull off with the missile in the face to open the mouth and then fire those supers in, correct? I mean, should be simple to do. It seems like it's easy to do. When I tried to do it myself, though, it was not simple to do, so there you go. But yeah, here we go. Let's see if we can pull it off.
Yeah, he should fire 2 missiles and 3 supers. I'll explain here in a minute what that's.
There you go.
Okay, very nice. So long story short, the first missile doesn't actually do any damage. It just like triggers him to open his mouth. And then after that, you need 1,000 damage. So the first missile does 100, and then every super after that does 300. So, 300 times 3 is 900, plus 100 is 1,000. That's just enough damage to kill him before he stands up. And by hitting him with that super missile, you can lock his mouth in place for a little bit. So yeah, there's the Crade quick kill for you. Very nicely done. Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt you, LT. I just want to point out real quick. Lynx got the frame perfect jump for the CWJ attempt here. Let's see if he gets it. Perfect.
Oh,
let's
attempt.
go, baby.
Nice. Wow. For first try. Wow. Yes, there's 2 options there, right? You could do the bomb version, and then you could do that. I think that's much harder, but I'm not sure what the runners might say. But yeah, that's a pretty awesome run to get the first time.
Yeah, I mean, both of them, neither one of them are technically easy. It just kind of depends. The bomb jump is sort of it doesn't feel overly intuitive, but it's a great method to use. But that CWJ that he attempted there and executed was a frame perfect jump into a 2-frame window to get the second jump. So he did an excellent job there, and especially in a race, I always get nervous for runners when they get there. Because when you're on a PB attempt and you get to the moat, it's very easy to mess up, and if you mess up, you lose like 10 seconds or more. And so in a PB attempt, you can just reset, right? But in these race scenarios, it's like you're just stuck there. So I'm always happy to see people get through.
Lynx here with his fan tune attempt, which is a major source of RNG in this run. That's doesn't have too much RNG outside of this, but this is a big source of it for sure. So let's see what happens here. How kind he is to us.
Cutie picking up the high jump boots. We got a first round slow for Lynx, and he's going to attempt to try to get at least 10 regular missiles in the first round. There's 1, 2, 3, 4.
About that.
And I think he only got 9 in there, unless I miscounted. So he technically can still get a 2-round, but his second round will be significantly more difficult. He might end up having a 3-round here. Yeah, actually, he's kind of lucky he missed that super, to be honest, unless I miscounted. I'm pretty sure he would have been Rage Fantoon. So now he's got to wait for this slow to go, and then he'll finish up with a couple missiles in a.
So some time lost there, but not dying is the main thing to be thankful for here to keep the run going.
For sure, I totally agree with you. In the meantime, Cutie over here doing that room is called Rising Tide, and he got the top method, so he never even went down and rolled, which is pretty difficult to do. And then he had a excellent Bubble Mountain there, killing King Cack with a charge shot from a distance. And Lynx now heading up to pick up his second and last super pack of the game. Cutie will grab the same pack as well. One thing you might want to you just kind of watch here is, this main room here is called Wreck Ship Main Shaft, and he's going to climb. It's actually going to be easier for Lynx. This is kind of a hard thing to explain. He doesn't have any movement items right now, and so his movement is very simple. Like, it feels very simple. Whenever you start putting on the high jump boots and the speed booster, she reacts differently to your inputs. And this room, in my opinion, is incredibly difficult to maneuver through. This one in the attic here that he's heading into, incredibly difficult to maneuver through in old route. This is actually a few of the rooms I find are actually easier in new route as opposed to old route. And you will see Cutie do some drastically different strats in these rooms when he gets to this juncture of the run. But Lynx is now through the attic, no sweat. Cutie is still collecting his items. He grabbed Speed Booster, and now he's going to grab Weight Beam.
Awesome, yeah. Lynx making his way out of the wreck ship. Move on to the next part of the run here. Both runners have to be pretty happy with how they're doing. A few small things, but nothing really, huge yet.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, in particular, I'll be completely honest with you. I'm not like nearly as honed in on all of the extremely pro strats on old route as I probably would have been in the past, because I've been running new route for a long time. But I know enough about it to kind of comment, generally speaking. And right now, Cutie is just absolutely destroying this run. Like, he is performing exceptionally well. I'm not surprised at all. This upper Norfair section, I talk about it pretty extensively in my other commentaries. This upper Norfair section for both runners is, in my opinion, one of the toughest parts of the whole run. You're not in danger of dying. You don't take any damage, but the movement and the complexity of the strats is very high and very difficult. And Cutie just completely crushed that section. So I'm not going to be surprised to see him make really good time up to the Power Bomb pack.
Cutie is just on fire right now. So we have Lynx picking up the gravity suit, which makes things a little bit easier, right?
Yeah. So gravity suit, I think everybody knows that it does. It adds the ability to move in water. But another primary feature is that it adds the most defense that you're going to get in the game in terms of taking hits from like normal enemies and bosses and stuff. The only thing that it doesn't protect against are like certain special attacks, like the rainbow attack from Mother Brain, 2 at the end of the game and stuff like that. You'll need Varia to cut that damage in half. But basically, I think Varia offers 50% damage reduction, and then Gravity adds another 50%, which really just means 75% total. So Lynx already has the most defense that he's going to get for the entire duration of the run. So even when he adds Varia, he won't be adding any normal defense because he already had Gravity.
ARealCutie putting on another show through that red tower there, making it through the perfect damage boost there. Yeah, but Metroid's interesting. Super Metroid's interesting. The damage boosts are actually, significant damage boosts that you really get thrown back in the room. So they can make a big difference in each room that you get a damage boost in.
Yeah, totally true. And to demonstrate your point, he just had a very nice D-boost to pick up his Power Bomb pack as well. And just to kind of get ahead of this a little bit, Lynx is now, let me try to explain two things very briefly here. Lynx is going to do something that Cutie did not do. Lynx is going to grab the Spazer Beam in this next room. He's grabbing Spazer because he needs the extra damage, and he will not be picking up Plasma. So he wants to go ahead and grab this beam for Ridley and Mother Brain too in the future. So that's one thing. And then Cutie here, he doesn't have to do a CWJ or a bomb jump to get over the moat. He has Speed Booster. So what you're going to see him do is get a short charge up here in just a second, and he's going to fly over the ocean that way. I bet he's going to attempt a strat called the Ocean Fly, which attempts to shoot a missile and then spark through the door. Let's see if he gets it. Oh. Unfortunately, he bonked and ran into that missile, but he can still get the strat. Let's see if he gets it or not.
Here we go.
Oh, baby.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's one of the swaggiest tricks there is, in my opinion. So it saves a few seconds. He doesn't have to do another short charge. The only problem with that trick, I would not recommend that necessarily to newer runners. If you want to feel swag, go ahead. But I wouldn't necessarily recommend that for brand new runners because, you end up taking a little bit more damage because you have to fly through 2 different rooms. You'll notice that he has only 128 health currently. However, he will take half damage from Phantoon. Lynx took 40 per shot from Phantoon, whether that's a body shot or a flame shot. Cutie will only take 20 damage because he already has the 50% damage reduction from Varia. So I don't really anticipate him being in any kind of significant danger, but he's also very, seasoned and has done this a lot. So I wouldn't recommend newer runners to do that.
For sure, yeah. And then you see this the flames kind of get out of hand really quickly, and then you start getting hit. You get hit by more than one at the same time, and then the run can be over quickly. But let's see how ARealCutie handles this so far. Starting with a slow. Keep counting those missiles, Kip.
Yeah, he's using X Factor strats here, so he's already done essentially 1,300 damage. It's really, I think, 1,350, but it basically just counts as 13 because he's not going to do another thing that does 50 damage, so he still needs to get the 1,200. So there's 2, there's 4. He's going to do a little doppel and a super. Excellent. The super does 600 damage. It does double damage. If you hit Phantoon with a super without killing Phantoon, Phantoon will enrage. So he wanted to make sure that he had enough damage on him before he fired that super to do the last bit of damage. And that was a great 2-round fight for Cutie. Unfortunately, a slow, but still great execution.
Yeah, ARealCutie is really, not doing anything wrong so far. So it's going to be tough for LynxXUnlimited to catch up to this so far. But we never, as usual, we never know where exactly they are in terms of their individual routes here. So we shall see.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, ARealCutie has to be a little bit ahead, though, right?
Yeah. Again, I'm going to do the best I can with the information that I have. I would say that based on what I've seen so far, Cutie has had. Lynx is doing fine, but Cutie's had an exceptionally clean run so far. And even though Lynx has the sort of routing advantage, I would say based on their performance thus far, Cutie is probably ahead. Let's watch Cutie's attic real quick. This should be a 6 strat.
Oh yeah, I love this.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is some top-level play right there.
So awesome to see that move come off. In this game, like, you can play the game and not know about some of these things they pull off, like X Factor. When I was playing, I didn't know what X Factor was. I don't think I even did it when I played it casually, but it's cool you can see those in the runs for sure.
Yeah, man, there's all kinds of talented guys out here, and on top of that, not only just people that are talented in terms of doing strats, there's a ton of people in the community that are really excellent at figuring stuff out in the game, like what is technically possible and stuff like that. So everything that you see from both runners is really, to be honest, a conglomeration of, many hours of many people and sharing information and stuff, which is, I want to give a shout out briefly to the Super Metroid community. I know different. I'm sorry, go ahead. Sing it, yeah.
It's all you.
Because, the Super Metroid community, this game is incredibly difficult and very competitive, but like everybody's really helpful with each other and, wants everybody to succeed. It's incredibly friendly and it's awesome. People get on the Discord and talk about strats and stuff all the time. So, it's cool to see these guys, utilizing the sort of full scope of the entire community's knowledge of the game.
That's really, obviously these competitions are great and stuff, but really speedrunning is about community. Let's try to work together, get his time as low as we can, and yeah, sometimes we have some races to help us have some fun too as well. You know what I mean? So that's the goal, guys. So next we're going. Let's see where we go now. We have for the new route, we're going to Ridley here, which is what I like to call Skinny Dragon, with Dragon playing the part of the Fat Dragon. But Ridley's another form, a little bit RNG, but you can kind of, play the dance with him a little bit, right? And kind of help him along to go where you want him to go, right?
Ridley?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Ridley's the most complex thing in this entire game. You can manipulate him to a degree, but sometimes, man, he just does whatever he wants. And so there's all kinds of crazy stuff that he'll do. And, you're just trying your best to A, react, and then B, control whatever you can control. So he's definitely the, in my opinion, sort of the scariest fight. But ooh, Lynx knocking out that sweet lava spark strat. That's a very difficult strat. Probably in many ways the most swag strat of the new route run. But Lynx having no issue getting it first try. Excellent job.
Everything with the shine spark is swag. I mean, let's just put it that way. That's the way to say it. It's awesome. It's the best thing in the game. It's the coolest thing to watch in the game for me, I think.
Yeah, I've heard people talk about how Speed Booster is technically the most fun item in the game because it lets you do all this cool speed tech, and I have to agree, man. Anything that features a spark is pretty sweet.
Let's watch the Lynx. I love this. Oh, and they go up in that room. I like that room. Is really interesting to see when they go up, but I guess that'll come later in the round for sure.
Okay, let me explain something real quick. I wasn't paying that close of attention. I could be wrong about this, but right now Lynx only has 4 power bombs. He's supposed to have 5 traditionally. Now that doesn't mean he's in trouble, but I think. Oh, hold on. This is bad. This is the worst room in the game, and you don't want to get off here. Oh no.
He's gonna
have to reset.
Yeah, reset the room and try it again.
But right before he goes into this room, there's 2 little creatures that drop power bombs, like 99.4% or something. And I think one of them actually gave him the rare drop, and that's why he doesn't have all the power bombs. Either that or he didn't have enough when he came in. I wasn't paying attention, but it looked like he might have gotten screwed there.
Yeah, as you can see, he's using the power bombs for the invisibility frames to get past these guys. A really crazy execution in that room.
Cutie cleaning up Botwin there. Unfortunately, co-jacked a couple supers there, but that's pretty typical for Botwin because his hitbox is terrible. Hopefully, Cutie will be able to farm. He wants to have at least 2 supers here. If you look at his screen, he only has 1. He has to have 1 to get in the green door. You traditionally want a second one to get into the boss door before Dragon. And luckily, those little jelly things don't drop supers at a super high percentage, but one of them dropped there, and so now he can just move forward and attempt his full halfie here.
Full halfie here. Oh.
Just barely missed the down grab. It's a tough strat.
Yeah. That's definitely. I mean, I remember years ago when that was like the hot strat that was like the thing to get. If you got that, that was awesome. But now it seems like it's kind of more common thing to learn early in your speedrunning, career with Super Metroid. Am I right on that?
Well, maybe not the full halfie. Oh,
we got death for Lynx. Oh.
Unfortunately, taking the death there. I think he was in Wasteland.
I was watching ARealCutie there.
Yeah, I was too. I think he was either in Wasteland or the Key Hunter Staircase. But just to kind of go back to what I was saying earlier, like, New Route is an exceptionally dangerous run. Like, Lower Norfair, you don't have a lot of items that can protect you very much, and the enemies all hit for mostly 40 damage or 50 damage. So if you make a few mistakes, it's easy to die. Unfortunately, Lynx took the death there. So assuming that if Cutie is able to finish his run without issue, he will be moving on. We'll see if he decides to do any safeties.
Kip, I might be able to share with you some knowledge here. Did you hear about the this kind of Easter egg that was found in Dragon recently? Last week, actually, came out on YouTube.
Yeah, I did hear about that. Pretty cool, and I find that to be pretty awesome. Yeah.
So for anyone that doesn't know, it's one of the little mini Dragons there. Writes Keiko Love in cursive. One of the developers just put that in for his girlfriend there. So there you go, guys. A little fun fact to tell all your friends there tomorrow.
Yeah, which is pretty neat. I definitely I was gonna say this ironically, but now that I think about it, I guess it's not really ironic or sarcastic. I mean, the game kind of is about love, right?
Exactly.
The love between the baby Metroid and Samus. So there you go.
Awesome. Yeah. So yeah, this game is brutal. If you take a death, that is, you do have to start all over. So that's where we're in now. I hope ARealCutie keeps up his awesome play, even though he has less pressure now because he's playing really incredible right now. So hopefully he can keep it going.
Yeah, he's playing great. He just picked up the space jump, which is a core item of Old Route, and the main reasons for that are, number one, he's about to path. Like right here, this direction he's going, you would not see Lynx go this way in a New Route run, because by the time you kill Dragon, you're done with all the bosses and you just want to go to Torian as quickly as possible. But in Old Route, you still have Ridley left and Mother Brain too. So he's going to path over here, pick up the plasma beam before he heads out of here. So space jump will be used throughout all this, Meridius section. And looks like he went for plasma spark there, just barely missed. But yeah, the space jump is used here and then also in Lower Norfair for some really swag strats. But just to finish my thought from earlier, right before Lynx died, the full halfie is a pretty tough trick. The halfie in and of itself is not too bad. A lot of times you'll see newer runners learn that one, but typically, like the mechanical requirements, like to just pull off the full halfie, are usually beyond newer players, and they need a little bit of, kind of time and experience just to get a little bit more comfortable with it. That's how I was, at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. These guys in the tournament are all high level guys, so awesome. And yeah, it's a little unfortunate about that. Obviously Lynx died, and it's such a big penalty. So I want to ask you now, what do you think about like putting in these kind of tournaments, putting in a place where, okay, you have to get that energy tank to make it so there's maybe less chance of this happening, even though, you know, that throws out the opportunity of having a PB or a record, all that's out the window. What do you think about that? Would that be a kind of a smart thing to do in the future tournaments to make sure this doesn't happen as much as it seems to be happening?
Well, let's put it this way. This is a good question, and I'm just going to wax poetic here for a second on this topic because actually
Sure.
I like talking about this stuff. I talk about this in commentary a lot, and if you look at any of the races that I do, you'll see me make adjustments to what I typically do on PB attempts, because in a race scenario, you're competing against one other person, and it's not a PB attempt. The main thing that you want to do is win, right? And so you got to think about the difference between running your fastest time versus doing things that are safe to try to win. So long story short, the fact that saving in this game eats up so much time, it incentivizes people not to do it in a lot of the races. However, as you can see, like if you die and you don't, if you don't have a save, then you have to start all the way back at the beginning. So there are things that you can do to make the run safer. There are extra E-tanks you can do. For example, if you're running new route, you can choose to, instead of going to Ridley second, you can choose to go Kraid second, pick up the Various suit for the lava jump if you do that, and then also have an extra E-tank for Lower Norfair. And that just gives you a little bit more leeway. So it just kind of comes down to like, how much risk do you want to take? And then how much time is that risk going to cost you versus your opponent? So I actually like the strategy element of seeing how runners choose to put the run together in these races. So I guess to answer your question, I like the fact that it's not mandatory because it forces people to think about it,
I also think you're one of the few people that would really adjust what they do. I've seen a lot of races people just, they go, this is my PB strats and I'm going to do the PB strats. But I've seen I've seen you pick up extra intakes, for example, and for sure, and save, and that's just something a lot of people don't do. So I wonder if maybe it's going to take time to get to this, we are racing, we're not trying to get PBs culture thing, you know what I mean, for it to really catch on. I don't know about that, but it's interesting. I'm not sure I'm not sure everyone's on the same plane of thinking as you, where you just want to win this race. That's your job right now, is to win the race, basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, what do I know? And
true.
I'd actually kind of prefer for people not to pick up on that stuff. So let's quit talking about it.
Good, that's a ARealCutie here, still playing incredible. But just watch him learn from his awesome play right now. He's on fire. I mean.
Yeah, man, Cutie's had an absolutely sick run. I haven't really seen, to be quite honest, I haven't really seen any section that he's really significantly struggled with. The only small thing I could think of is the Dragon fight ended without a blue suit, and he tried to get a spike suit, but unfortunately didn't get it. But not a big deal because he has the space jump. But right here, he just crushed that chronic boost. That he actually did it the most difficult way to reduce the most lag. So that was really well done.
Yeah, it's really. I mean, I asked him before the tournament, what's he worried about? He said the only thing he's worried about is baby Metroid skip. So I guess we can look forward to that and see if he can pull that off or not. But yeah, he's doing fine so far with everything.
Yeah, and he's got full health here. I wasn't paying attention, but I bet that he excuse me, if he has full health here, I bet he picked up the refill, and he probably did that just to play it super safe for the for the race.
The spines shine sparks through those towers.
Yeah, you'll notice.
A great room to watch. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll notice that he's actually gonna fire some charge shots. He kind of accidentally messed up that strat just a little bit, but he's perfectly fine. In old route, you have plasma down here in Lower Norfair, so you have all these different ways to kill some of the creatures, reduce lag, or clip through them. Unfortunately, he's already taken 2 hits, I think, for a total of 100 damage, and he just missed that space jump as well, and amphitheater, which can be scary. He also just took a hit there. If he had not refilled or gotten a bunch of health before coming down here, he actually might be in trouble. So just to prove my point about racing, right? Like, everybody tries to pretend like they're gonna nail everything every time, and that's just not the way life works. So you got to think about what's your potential worst performance, and if you're gonna win, as long as you just avoid that, then why not play it safe?
Let's see Lynx with the CWJ here, and he gets it again. I mean, it's two times in a row. He got the first try, right? Yeah. Yeah, so if you're in a, I mean, for you, if you're in a race like now, I mean, how safe do you want to play it? I mean, is there anything? Do you think ARealCutie is going to take a save? Maybe. I mean, it probably doesn't even have to. I guess, you know.
I mean, he doesn't have to. You know, I don't necessarily save in every single instance, but you know, a lot of times I'll save before Mother Brain or something like that. But yeah, I mean, there's just, again, you know, like there's only one goal here. You know, win. I guess
Yeah.
unless you're motivated to, you know, try to look swag or something like that. But you know, I highly doubt very many people are going to remember the exact time that people run in a lot of these
no.
races, like a year from now or whatever. So the main thing is just trying to secure the win. So, you know, typically, you know, this is just me. I would play it relatively safe. Doesn't mean that you have to go super slow. It's just that maybe some of the riskier strats, you just choose to, you know, run a little bit safer strat and, you know, lose a second or two. Not a big deal.
Let's see,
But
ARealCutie's on Ridley here, and he's dancing the dance with Ridley. Somewhat of a, you know, you said not you can't manipulate what he does, but you can kind of massage or caress what he does, I guess.
yeah, you can. I mean, you can manipulate him. It's just that sometimes he chooses to ignore your manipulation. He's a really complicated. He has a really complicated AI. I think Lynx just got a 2-round Fantoon, if I'm not mistaken, over here. So good job by him.
Yeah, wow.
But yeah, Cutie had to hit him 20 times, and you're gonna see. I really love this. This is what Cutie's doing right now. He is taking an energy tank that he would never take ever in a PB attempt. This is a perfect tank to pick up for 2 reasons. Number one, that's 4 tanks, which gives him leeway against future stuff with Mother Brain and whatnot. And number 2, right now he just got a full, complete refill to having more, you know, health than he would in a normal PB attempt on the exit, because everything down here hits for so much damage. So I really like this play. You know, I guess you never say never, but the chances of him dying on this lower Norfair exit are literally probably like 50,000 to 1 or something. I mean, like it's basically just not gonna happen. So yeah, he's in great shape.
Awesome. So if you want to take a bet on those bets, check out vi.gg for take those odds that Kip just laid out there for his chance of death here, which you can't actually do, by the way. That's a joke.
Yeah, that was a great segue. Yeah, type !bet in the chat and check out the sponsor for this tournament, vi.gg, and you guys can put bets on these different races.
Yeah, it's interesting. ARealCutie, I'm not as familiar with Old Route. It looked like ARealCutie he can just shoot his way through those the dragonflies, as I call them. I know that's not the real name, but you know, I know New Route has to kind of dodge them actually instead of just shooting and get through them. You know.
Correct. Yeah, that's one thing about Plasma Beam. It's not only powerful in terms of the amount of damage that it does, but it has a piercing property, and it allows you to clip through a lot of enemies. So I think he's probably going to kill him. Like in New Route, you'd never be able to kill these P-Hunters right here. I think Cutie's going to kill him right here using those charge shots. And even if he didn't want to kill him, he could clip through them by shooting them as he ran through them. So Plasma is OP.
That's the lesson here, guys. Plasma's OP, and ARealCutie getting through the three musketeers there, and working his way to the point of this game, defeating Mother Brain. Right? I mean, it's time to get there.
Yeah, we're on the way, and you know, his health and ammo are in perfectly fine spots. I'd say like, wow, he just got 2 more supers in there. I was gonna say on average he might have like 1 or 2 supers less than normal, but that doesn't really matter because that's still a high number. New Route typically gets the Torian, you know, not every time, but most of the time, with very few supers, and they're, you know, it's very drop dependent and you don't have much leeway. Whereas Old Route typically comes in with more. But yeah, he's already got 8, and he might even get 1 or 2 more from a bug farm before the last green gate. I think he only has 1 more super that he's required to fire before he gets. I'll take that back. He has 2 that he'll fire before he gets to Torian because he needs to open the red door leading to the G4 room. But yeah, he'll have plenty of supers, and he's got a ton of health, so he's in great shape.
Mm-hmm. Yes, looks like everything is coming up, ARealCutie, and also his playing. I mean, he's been playing incredible too. Let's not forget about LynxXUnlimited here. Let's see how he's doing. I mean, one thing you can watch people do, even if they're, you know, the race is kind of done, is how is he doing his ledge grabs? How is he doing his, you know, is he still taking the time to make sure he does the optimal strats, even though he kind of, you know, he knows it's kind of what's the way to say it? A walkthrough in the park here for his run here. But let's see how he's still playing too. I'm sure he's trying his best anyway.
Hey, one small thing I forgot to mention. Cutie is now doing his last, I believe it's the last space jump through water. And space jump actually behaves differently in water than it does in the air. I don't remember the exact number. It's like 10 frames or something, or 15, like where from the time that you press jump to the time where it will let you press jump again to space jump in the air. But in water, it's like 1 frame. So you can essentially spam it over and over and over again, which you saw him, do a bunch of space jumps in the water. So just something small that a lot of newer players are not necessarily familiar with.
Yeah, Rumble Minze with a good point. I mean, ARealCutie just laughed at that save point and just walked right past it. I guess he's not thinking, he doesn't need it. He's confident in his abilities and his life level and all the missiles he has. He's ready for the final battle here.
He's gonna be he's gonna be walking in. I think Rumble, I think the stream is a few minutes behind. I think he was referring to something in Lower Norfair with Ridley.
Oh, okay.
But at the same time, it's like, I mean, the point is the same, he's in pretty fine shape, both health and ammo wise. Like, I would take a save at the ship if I was way ahead and had like low health, but he's got 391 health. I mean, I can't sit here and give you the damage values for the different Metroids and yada yada yada. But long story short, it would be very difficult for him to die in any of these rooms. It's possible, but just very unlikely.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen. It looks like the kind of the difficult parts aren't near the end of the run. Would you agree with that? It seems like once you get here, it's kind of not easy, but I mean, you know what you got to do, except for the baby Metroid skip, of course, which can be difficult for anybody.
Yeah, there aren't any sections that I would call like super easy, but I do agree that in particular, like the final escape after Mother Brain 2 is, one of the least demanding sections. Especially in Old Route, the Mother Brain 2 fight is, objectively just not very hard. You've only got to hit her 20 times, and typically you can get, maybe 6 or 7 of those shots in before she even starts to attack to begin with. And, the Metroid rooms, if you're trying to go fast, I mean, yeah, they can be kind of tough, but they're not quite probably as demanding as some of the other rooms in the game. But yeah, definitely the baby Metroid room is the worst. And
even if you miss that, it's just time lost, right? It's not a big deal.
Yeah, it's not really a threat to your run. The only place left to die, more than likely is Mother Brain 2, or if you get soft locked at Mother Brain 1 because of some turret action.
#turret action.
Yeah, that's never fun. We've all lost runs that way. But let me ask you, since I think you're doing a great job on commentary, and clearly you're a fan of the game, so sometimes I forget what it's like to watch the game from the perspective of not having run it literally thousands of times. So what's this experience been like for you? Like, what are you noticing? What do you find kind of the coolest and most fun thing to watch when you see these races or people running the game?
Oh, I mean, really, just I love this. I love the swag, right? I mean, that's what it's about. I mean, I remember the first time I saw someone run this game, I was like, wow, I got to learn how they did all that. And then you get into you learn about it's not real glitches, but I mean the techniques and stuff, and it's just a real awesome wormhole, a rabbit hole that you can get yourself into, and you can learn about all the different things they do. There's so much. What I love about this run is nothing is like by chance, right? I mean, the perfect run has perfect inputs and perfect damage boost and perfect everything. That's when you see someone really do that, it's like a symphony, you know what I mean? As we see ARealCutie not quite hitting the symphony here. We're missing the baby Metroid skip, as he said was his most scary point. But yeah, just really watching. I love to see people get the strats that are like, just so much went into finding the strats and then doing them. It's real cool.
I agree. I think that this is, especially in terms of retro speedrunning, I think this is, maybe I'm biased, but like, I don't say this because I run the game. I decided to run the game because of this. I just think it's a gorgeous game to watch. Like, I remember the first speedruns that I saw of this game, and I just remember thinking like, oh my God, like that's actually possible. Like that looks awesome, So I think it's a fun game to watch for sure.
Yeah, once you get start in the world too, you learn even more about it. You can appreciate it even more. I mean, it's just there's nothing on accident that happens here, and it's just really cool.
Yeah, and the physics and everything are way more complex than we could even explain here in commentary. So anybody out there who's having a good time watching this game, I highly encourage you to get into looking into playing the game. If that's something you're interested in, there's a lot of great people in the community willing to help people out, and it's a lot of fun, man. I have fun every time I play. So anyway, Cutie's here. He's managed to get past Mother Brain 1, no sweat. He needs 20 charge shots, and then he will be done before the cutscene. So let's watch him knock this out real quick.
Yeah, I'm used to the new route when it takes a long time, a lot of shots. But yeah, the old route I guess it's much shorter, so we should be in for a treat there. This part again, it's kind of a letdown that the last boss is a little bit more difficult. Even with casualty, this wasn't really a tough boss. You know what I mean? That's a little unfortunate. We don't get that kind of epic final battle here for the speed run here, but it's still fun nonetheless. Great story for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree from a casual perspective, it's not super duper hard. However, when I was a kid, I bet there's people out there that were like me. So like, our family had Metroid 1 and I had Metroid 2 on my Game Boy before Super Metroid ever came out. And so I was kind of accustomed, especially from Metroid 1, like charge beam didn't exist. So I was accustomed to getting damage mostly from missiles and stuff.
Yeah.
So I tried to kill Mother Brain 2. I don't think I ever shot her with a single charge shot. Like I think I just hit her with all my, like a ton of like hundreds of missiles and supers and stuff. And so I think I probably died to her a couple times. But one thing I do like about it, even though the old route method is kind of easy, it does allow for opportunities like my favorite category, low percent ice, to be run. You have to kill Mother Brain 2 with 200 charge shots in that category. And she is a lot more difficult to kill that way than you might would think. A lot of people think she's easy, but once she starts throwing all these crazy combos at you over the course of like 4 or 5 minutes, it can be pretty tough. So
yeah,
it's cool.
I remember when I was a kid, like I would farm till I have 99 everything, and then fight Fate and facing her. And yeah, just like you, I didn't know charge beam was like the best weapon as it is, But here we go, ARealCutie making soon to make quick work of Mother Brain for sure, and get off this planet to coast to his victory in this semifinal, quarterfinal. Not sure what finals we're in now, but for the right to face Oats and Goats, which is going to be a great match too. So
yeah, so the winner here, Cutie is going to be the winner. There will only be 4 people left in the tournament at this point, so there will be a match between Cutie and Oats and Goats, and then the winner of that match will face Zost, and then the winner of that match will face me in the final. It feels weird to say that, to be totally honest with you, but but yeah, so we only have 4 players left at the end of this race.
There you go. It's been a great tournament so far. Lots of cool races, and ARealCutie is ready to make his escape from the planet of. How do you say it, Kip? I'm gonna say Zebs. What do you say?
I always call it Zebus, but you know what? I ain't gonna hate on anybody. Just call it whatever you.
It's called. Use the Spanish pronunciation of El Zeboso or something like that. Just to avoid the controversy.
So, or yeah, Zebes, Zebus, Zebes, whatever you want to call it.
Terrain action. There you go. ARealCutie. Let's see if he saves the animals to give some hope to the world. I'm guessing he doesn't though. Most speedrunners do not like to save the animals, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm just gonna keep it 100% here. If he saves the animals, I'm gonna be incredibly disappointed in Cutie. So I hope he does not do that.
I'm rooting for you, ARealCutie. If you're reading this, if you're listening to us, save the animals, please. LynxXUnlimited here is we're gonna see one final. Let's see if he finishes this fight with Ridley here. Should we give something to see on the right side? Does he go down?
Those X Factor strats.
Oh, he goes down!
Cutie.
Yes! He is saving the animals, folks!
No. He still has a second. He's gonna taunt them. I don't believe he. No.
What a man! What a lover of nature. All animals. Oh, I'm rooting for him the rest of the tournament from now. ARealCutie, you are my horse to win this tournament. Taking down Chip in the end. But yeah, this is awesome. ARealCutie, thanks for that. We have the full save the animals escape from the planet. And there you go, folks. ARealCutie is our winner today with a time of around 46:46. And yeah. What a race. Great job, ARealCutie. Really, nothing real big happened until the race was kind of out of hand. So yeah, that's just an awesome run. Great to see and a lot of fun.
Yeah, and his pace was even faster than that up until the point where Lynx died, and Cutie knew that he had it in hand, so he just took a lot of safeties and took things a lot slower. So it was still a 46:46 is a very good old route time, especially considering all the safeties. And he'll be moving on to face Oats.
There you got to be another That's gonna be a tough one for sure. And then after that, the winner of that gets to face those. So there you go, a tough road to face our man Kip here. But this runner is ready to do it for sure. And I think I'm gonna have an interview with one of these runners here after Lynx decides what he's gonna do.
Yeah, let's see if we can get Cutie in here and we'll talk to him about it. He might need a second or two. But yeah, so Lynx is still running at the moment. Let's see if we get
ARealCutie, you in the house?
Yep, right here.
ARealCutie, congratulations on your run. What are your thoughts after that? You know, you can't be that pissed. Nothing big wrong happened. What are you feeling right now?
The early game was fine. I made some mistakes in Meridia here and there, and then I saw, unfortunately, what happened to Lynx. So my time lost in the late game was partly due to trying some silly strats, like trying to do the ice entrance without getting blue suit and getting stuck between the gates. So I had to go reload the room.
Well, I've got a question for you, Cutie.
Okay.
A question that's way more important than any kind of strat question that I could give you. Dude, what were you thinking saving the animals, dude? Come on.
Love it, bro. Love it.
Okay, so I was thinking no one's gonna do it this tournament, so someone has to. At least once. You just gotta give it to him once. After that, no more. You just gotta give it to him once.
ARealCutie, I'm rooting for you the rest of this tournament for sure. Yeah, so you told me earlier before the race started you're most scared of the baby Metroid skip, and it turned out to be, of course, you did not pull that off. But you know, at that point, the race was kind of out of hand for sure. So, is there anything you think what's your kind of biggest, anything you wish you did better besides that falling in that thing? You know, how were you feeling halfway through? Did you think you were in the lead? Were you watching closely, or did you know you were ahead?
I wasn't watching too closely. I was just periodically checking here and there. And what ended up happening was the only reason I grabbed moat missiles was because the stream was like about 4 or 5 minutes behind, so I didn't have any concrete evidence. Plus, I'm not too familiar with PRKD milestones, but I noticed that his Scantoon kill time was a little bit behind where it usually is for him, which is why I picked up the moat missiles.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I would have probably gone 15-10, and against Oats, I'm definitely going to go 15-10, 3 tank. I don't try my best to win straight up.
Awesome.
Yeah, let me ask you about this, Cutie. You got a lot of people already, not only in this particular interview right this second, but even in chat right now, you got a lot of people rooting for you to win the entire tournament. So, what I want to know is, for you to win the tournament, you would have to beat Oats and Goats, followed by Zost, and then followed by some dude named Kip. What would it feel like to beat 3 absolute titans of Super Metroid in a row? Like, would that be something that you would feel good about?
Definitely. I mean, my losers bracket run so far, when I had to go through Sloters, who was the 3rd seed, then through Pharaoh, who was 4, and I think Lynx here was the 5th seed. So, I mean, my losers run so far has already been taking out some titans. I think, Oats hasn't really been playing any percent, so I think if I have a very, a phenomenal run and he has a rather poor run, I think that's definitely like a winnable, straight up winnable one. I think Zost would have to die or make some incredible mistake, like horizontal sparking when trying to do lava spark or something kind of mistake. But I mean, it's possible, and it's Super Metroid. Anyone can win.
I think you're being too hard on yourself. You got a lot of fans now rooting for you to get to those 3 titans, those 3 huge faces of the Super Metroid community. You can do it, my friend. You showed us a great show. You put on a great show today. That's for sure. No one can be mad about that. You put on a great show, and you can't wait to watch the rest of your tournament. And good luck to everyone. Let me say thanks to my main man, Kip, on the color. You shared a lot of knowledge. You helped me through my first ride to this commentating game. It was really fun. Hope we can do it again in the future. Everyone out there, chat. You guys are awesome too. You guys led to a lot of fun as well. LynxXUnlimited, great run. Unfortunately, you died, but hey, that happens in Super Metroid. You are still awesome. And yeah, I guess that'll be our outro. Kip, any last word? You send us out.
Yeah, so very briefly, I do want to say big GG to Lynx. He's an awesome runner. You guys check him out. Unfortunately, he died in the race, but he was giving it his all, and he had an excellent tournament. Cutie, you had a fantastic run tonight. Looking forward to your race with Oats and anything that happens after that as well. Thanks again to our sponsors, Vi.gg. You can, again, type !bet to check out their site in the chat. And ALT, it was fun doing commentary. Thanks to everybody out there for watching, and we'll see you next mission.